Hi, my name is Christian Sutter, senior on the Lovejoy cross country team, and you're watching Leopard Spotlight.
Welcome everybody to Leopard Spotlight. I'm Bradley Davis.
And I'm Grayson Knight.
In this edition, we'll take you down the firehouse pole.
We'll give you a blast of the past in a modern day record shop.
And finally, some of our school's players show off their moves in our featured Club of the Month.
But first, one Lovejoy student's passion for baseball is producing big league paydays. Reporter Jackie Carroll leads off our show.
That was a Christmas gift.
For many, sports are a childhood hobby. But for sophomore Justin Maroney and his father, baseball has become a lifelong passion.
I grew up in Massachusetts, and that's a big, baseball state, the Red Sox and stuff there. So everyone played it, and thus I did too, and carried over to Texas. It was every weekend you'd have tournaments and games and stuff. There was never really a whole lot of free time.
That came from the Louisville Slugger.
But after a decade of playing, Justin had to give up the game after suffering multiple arm injuries.
Because stuff kept happening and it kept setting me back, and I wasn't progressing the way I should have been able to.
Just takes a while, that's all.
However, Justin's journey in baseball was nowhere near over.
We happened to be out. We'd gone to flea markets, and we stopped by a card shop. It was really a florist, but he had cards. And he told us we could buy anything he had for $5 per row. So we bought a bunch of it, and that's how we got started.
And 8 years later, the duo's collection is one for the record books.
And you fill really the need of the sport, you fill that void with the cards and stuff. And it's a bit of an addiction at this point. We've probably had as many as 5 million cards through, whether we've had them or in the past or we have them now.
Speaker, he's a big-time Hall of Famer. He played for the Red Sox. That's from 1926.
Along with the joy of collecting, the collection has resulted in various benefits.
Kind of the historical side. I enjoy that. Baseball's always been a big part of America and other sports in general, a big part of pop culture and that sort of thing. So kind of having pieces of that as time goes by is an interesting thing to have. And then obviously the monetary gain isn't a terrible thing necessarily. So, but
Park kind of way in the back so I don't get door dings on her.
The money that Justin has acquired through his collection has been used in part to finance his car, as well as purchase items for other various collections. But the knowledge gained is equally as rewarding.
You learn more and more about it to the point where you can pretty much tell you what the card number is, who's on that card, and what the picture is. You know what I mean? So it gets to that point where it's like you've memorized a bunch.
Eventually, if I get to card number 95, as I recall, right there, Mickey Mantle.
He knows a lot about regional sets and things that, you'd almost have to find an almanac to know about. They're difficult cards to know about.
And the father-son bond the pair has formed is priceless.
Dad kind of enjoyed it as a younger kid, and he saw that I enjoyed it, so we kind of latched on, and it kind of became a father-son thing that we kept doing together. It's probably something that a lot of kids don't do, and it's a lot like working a job with them.
It's just a really nice hobby to be able to have with your son. It's something we have in common, a common interest in, and we work on together.
Bottom right hand.
This is Jackie Carroll reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
Working odd shifts and enduring long hours of training, the sacrifices these firefighters make help keep the residents of Fairview safe. Parker and Cheney take us to the station.
You may have seen the flashing lights and heard the blaring sirens of the Fairview fire engines rushing around town. But behind these well-known signals lie hours and hours of training and preparation.
The training that I went through to become a firefighter is a little bit different than what some other people go through. I actually put myself through school. I didn't just go through a fire academy. I actually have an Associates of Applied Science in Fire Sciences, and I also have a bachelor's in Fire Arson and Explosion Investigation.
These brave men and women train constantly to be ready for when the next emergency arises.
We definitely pride ourselves in training as much as we can. Just today we were out in the parking lot just working on ladder drills, getting the aerial up to 100 feet, climbing it, getting used to where everything is positioned on that apparatus. Just every day we'll have something new that we're going to try to train, something that we aren't as confident in, or something that we haven't maybe touched in a while just because the resources haven't called for it. So like I said, we just try to pride ourselves in training as much as we can for that next call that we may get.
As with many jobs, life as a firefighter has many ups and downs.
The most difficult part of my job is probably dealing with medical calls that pertain to kids. That can be kind of rough sometimes, but it is a part of the job, and it's nice to help them, but at the same time, when things don't go well, it's very rough.
I think the most fulfilling part of my job is just being able to serve the citizens of Fairview. It's just a very rewarding feeling knowing that when the day gets rough for them or whatnot, that we're able to be there for them at that time.
This is Parker Nolan and Cheney Kelly reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We live in a digital music era. Even so, some still prefer the authentic experience a vinyl record can provide. Preston and Sylvia spin our next story.
Since 1898, vinyl records are one of the oldest ways that music has been consumed, and although with easier forms of listening to music, such as Apple Music and Spotify, records seem to be making a comeback. We spoke with local record store owner Katie Scott on why she thinks this phenomenon is going on.
The draw of records, personally, is that you experience from beginning to end a masterpiece as opposed to just listening to a single or listening to one song. You get to hear the whole piece as it's meant to be listened to. I decided to open a record store because I love music. I've always collected vinyl personally, and I wanted to bring something different to the McKinney area. So the record industry is making a comeback, absolutely, because kids are looking for something nostalgic, something different, something they never experienced, and which is cool with me. So I actually started off as a vintage store. When I was a school teacher, I did that on the side. On the weekends, I would go to trade shows and sell all my vintage stuff, and I started carrying records to them as well, and I would sell out of my records. And so that is kind of what inspired me to have a record section in my store, because I could see that there was a need for it. I wasn't the only person that thought it was cool, so that's how it ended up like this.
Student Katie Bardwell believes the appeal of records is
that once you're listening to a vinyl record, you're paying attention to it more because you have to flip to side B. You have different options with which record you're going to play, but you listen to a full album instead of just one song. I own vinyls because I believe that you should listen to music the way that it was meant to be listened to. Different options with which record you're going to play. But you listen to a full album instead of just one song. Vinyl records are something that it's like a physical copy of music, and I think with phones and all of that, we don't get a lot of connection with our music anymore. And having the vinyl records is a new way to connect with your music.
This is Preston Kahn and Sylvia Henson reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We close our show with this week's In the Club feature. Grayson and Fallon show us the room where the queens rule.
The Lovejoy High School Chess Club is a place where all types of students come together and share a unique bond over their passion for chess.
The best part of Chess Club is the environment that it's in. People who come are really calm, usually, and relaxed. We don't judge each other, no matter what our skill level is. We just come to have a good time. It doesn't matter if you're good at chess or not. Just come to have a good time. We'll teach you the basics. There's a lot of people with different skill levels here, people who just learned today and people who've been playing for years. So there's no judgment, we just come to have a good time.
I think it's a way to socialize, and then there's some of those people that are learning chess that didn't maybe even think that they wanted to learn chess, and they're seeing that they might be good at it. And it is fun. It is a simple game, but it's challenging, and you can make it really difficult. So so I think they just like the challenge. I hope that Lovejoy students will, at the very least, get out of chess club that there's a place where they can come and socialize with other people that they might not know, and that we're a very open group. Sometimes we have food. We always have Pink Floyd playing, and it's just a time to get together and have fun. But I do hope that there's some that get their interest piqued and really like chess and take it however far they need to take it.
For many students, the most valuable part of the club is the experience they gain and the memories they create.
I would say the best part of chess club for me is getting to see everyone play and have a good time, and even if you don't win this time, you might win the next, and everyone being really supportive of each other. It's kind of a very family-like environment, which I think is the best part. Lovejoy has won a lot of tournaments. We have actually the trophy case downstairs is full of chess trophies. It's not football or soccer or anything, it's all chess. So in the past we've had a very good chess team, but this year I'm really hoping we can get in some more and hopefully bring another trophy in. I would tell everyone, just show up one time. I mean, even learn how to play. I think it's a really great skill. It's definitely a mind game and it can strengthen your brain in different ways. But yeah, don't be afraid to show up, just to try it out. Even if you end up hating it, I mean, at least you tried it.
This is Grayson Knight and Fallon Brothers reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We hope you enjoyed these stories. Until next time, I'm Grayson Knight.
And I'm Bradley Davis.
And remember, if there's a story to find,
we'll find it here on Leopard Spotlight.